Okay, I can sort that. Are we back? Hello? Oh, John's hat is gone. Yes, they say we're back. Right. Back to it then. Apologies. I don't know what the hell happened. OBS just spazzed out, killed everything, then killed Ring Central. Then it wasn't an internet issue. Wasn't an internet issue for once. Internet was absolutely fine. Anyway, let's get back to it. Because we were talking about Stephen Fry, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we were. I think you're right. Well, I don't know if I think you're right. I think we're quite at odds on this. I think some of what you're saying has merit. And I also think that adopting a child is something that they should be able to do as a couple. I know you disagree, right? I know you disagree.
Yeah, I do disagree, and I don't think it's. I might have, let's just say, traditional values when it comes to things like this.
And you know,
I don't see why people who cannot have children should have children.
Do you know what? I definitely understand where you're coming from. I do. I definitely understand where you're coming from, and I definitely understand your point. But I also, you know, as a child from a broken home, if there is a family that can love a child and is going to do right by that child, I don't really care if they're a man and a woman, a man or a man, a woman and a woman. As long as they are going to raise the child and look after the child, feed the child, clothe the child, and promote a healthy mindset within the child, I don't see what the issue is.
Right. So this is the whole problem.
Right.
Because we're now going to get into nature and nurture and all that shit, and it's like you just don't know. Nobody knows. That's the problem.
Exactly. Nobody does know. And so whilst nobody can know or nobody does know, we shouldn't exclude people who could do a job of raising a child from doing it.
No, that's not an argument to say that you shouldn't exclude people from doing a job. That's an argument to say if you don't know the cause, then you shouldn't allow it to be out with the norm.
Okay, well, I think on this note, we would have to agree to disagree to an extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I certainly understand where you're coming from, and I certainly understand your point. But, you know, like I say, as you know, someone who's experienced shitty parenting,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
I understand your point as well.
Yeah, no, okay.
But we will disagree on this one, and it's probably just maybe I'm just getting old and contentious in my dotage. But
well, no, because I can certainly understand where you're coming from. Because say my grandmother, who's 77, right? She would say exactly the same as you. She would say exactly the same as you. Now that doesn't make her wrong. That makes her a product of her time. And that probably makes you somewhat a product of your time as well, right?
Yeah, possibly am. Well, I probably am, yeah. Of course I'm a product of my time.
But remember, before all of this, I've always been a hippy-dippy fucking tree-hugging lefty liberal. I have. And I've always never cared what your sexuality is, who you pray to, what colour of your skin you are, right? All I care about is you're a good person, you do a good thing. And that's about it. And I know that people think differently, feel differently, and that's okay too, right? I don't have to tell people that they are wrong. I just have to say to people, well, I don't agree. It's as simple as that. And you know what? That's how adults do things.
Indeed it is. And that's the problem, because most people these days won't have an adult conversation.
No, they won't. And whilst this subject is very tough, and it's very tough to broach, and there is probably no right answer. Yeah? There probably is no right answer. I certainly understand that people have different points of view, especially let's take fundamentalist Christians and fundamentalist Muslims. They would totally agree with you, right? They would, because it's part of their religion, and our laws of our land and the way that people are, the way that people were, are definitely based upon the Christian faith.
I mean, in some respects, I think some of the problems that we have in society today are because we have allowed ourselves to kind of lose our compass, you know, where we want to be and what we want to achieve, and just the laissez-faire attitude to a degree.
I would call it. I would actually use, because I think you're absolutely right. Okay, I do, but I don't call it laissez-faire attitude. I call it moral destitution. I think that this world, especially the Western world, has fallen to moral depravity, moral destitution.
Yeah.
And in a way, you know, we're at a point now in society where people celebrate vulgarity. Not just that, but they look to one up each other all the time on what's the worst shitty thing we can do and get away with. That is true. That is where we are in our society. And that goes to a comment that Jessie's made in the chat. She says, yes, but Ben, our generation have had it fucking easy. And of course, that's where we're going to go if we have had it fucking easy. And I mean, you say our generation, and I don't agree with you to an extent, because there are people who have not had it easy, but that's at an individual level. Well,
I think in general, people are getting an easier and easier time, and Delivering Liberty brings up some cracking points in the chat there. It is a tough one, and that's the problem, because people won't address the tough issues. And again, I think back to what you were saying, Ben, about moral destitution. People won't address it. You know, people steer away from these things because it's a tough issue and they don't want to talk about it. And then people start going, oh, well, you can't hurt people's feelings and things like that. Well, it's your right to be offended. If you don't like what I'm saying, which, you know, 90% of you probably don't, that's fine. You don't need to like what I'm saying. All I'm asking you to do is either listen to me or not.
Yeah.
I'm not making you do anything. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just telling you how I feel and what I think. And Ben's doing exactly the same thing. And that's always the thrust of the matter between our conversations. We're never trying to change your mind. We're telling you how we feel, and we're reporting things that have happened.
And we're challenging you to change our minds, right? Because if you disagree with us, you are absolutely welcome to do so. You're exactly welcome. You're absolutely welcome to present your evidence as to why, and you're absolutely welcome to, you know, prove us wrong. And we are open to, in the words of Stephen Crowder, having our minds changed, right? We could do a change my mind sort of thing like that.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, we're getting a bit off topic slightly, but you know, people go on about changing people's minds because they view what's happening and what's happened in the last couple of years as being on a side.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think that's the correct view, because they're trying to change people's minds. They're saying, go out and show people this evidence and that will change their minds. No, it won't.
No, it
won't change their mind.
It won't.
If people don't want to change their mind, it doesn't matter how many things you show them. They'll still believe in what they want to believe in. And this subject in particular is very difficult, because what if you're trying to change their mind about things that have happened over the last couple of years? One, you're asking them to maybe accept they've been duped.
Yep.
And two, that they might well be at risk.
Yeah.
And there's nothing they can do about that. And
no, I get you.
That scares them, you know?
No, but the thing is, once again, you're absolutely right. But also, you know, in the same breath, people are entitled to believe what they want, even if what they believed is objectively wrong, or we just believe to be morally wrong, right? People are entitled to believe those things, and we are entitled to go, well, they're idiots.
Well, we should be.
And people ultimately on the other side, on the same breath, if they've got something that they can prove to be true and they say that we're wrong about it, they can sit there and go, well, they're idiots.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's people sitting there going, listen to these clowns.
Absolutely.
You know, they're talking rubbish. And yeah, we might be. Then again, we might not, you know. Hey, it just depends. It just depends where it might even be how you're feeling that day, whether you think we're talking nonsense or talking the truth. I mean, you listen to Neil Oliver. Do you think he talks the truth all the time? I like Neil Oliver, but in some respects I don't, because you know what? He says the same thing every time. He doesn't change his mind at all. He just says the same thing. He just puts it in different terms. And it's now becoming the same speech. And I know that's maybe going to annoy some people because they think Neil Oliver's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But it's becoming repetitive. And that to me is a bit of a loss of talent, you know?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to go slightly off topic here. Now that you've mentioned Neil Oliver, GB News, the Together Declaration, all of that lot, right? James Melville, all of these so-called faux pas freedom fighters, and I call them faux pas freedom fighters because they're nothing of the sort. And hear me out here, right? These people did nothing, right? They'll claim they did everything, but all they did was tweet. All they did was tweet and send out a few tweets. They did nothing to really help the situation over the past 2.5, 3 years. They sat on TV and spoke to you, yes, or they sent out tweets. They aren't the heads of some kind of freedom movement, and yet now they're what's going on? They're making hundreds, if not thousands of pounds a week through this Together Declaration thing. They're in some kind of exclusive club. I mean, even people like Abby Roberts, who was a part of their WhatsApp groups and a part of their clubs, called them all selfish C words, said that they were all in it to just simply work out which stately home they could go have a cocktail in rather than actually trying to help anybody. And unfortunately, many people look up to these people, Neil Oliver included, and I feel like they're leading you down a garden path. I mean, let's take Melville, for example. Let's face it, he bloody copies everything we say, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does, yeah he does. He
doesn't have an original thought in his body. And then when he actually had a chance, and this is why I really dislike James Melville, because when he actually had a chance to hold Matt Hancock's feet to the fire, he asked him about cryptocurrency. He spent a podcast asking him about crypto fucking currency. And then his podcast partner, Isabel Oakeshott, co-write Hancock's book with him. I'm just saying, these maybe not the people. These maybe not the people to be looking up to you. And am I saying we are? No, we're just people having a conversation, and we hope you come and listen, and we hope you enjoy it. And yes, we do hope that possibly, if you think we're good enough, you chuck us a donation if you enjoy what we're doing. But you don't have to. Right, we're not going to get you to sign up to some fucking membership movement going forward. We might offer some kind of, membership that people will be able to choose to have or not, but we won't be joining up to any, signing you up to any year-long or lifetime memberships for what, £2,000 now reduced. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Yeah. I remember being a bit aghast when I found out what that
£2,000 now. Oh, you might get to have a glass of bubbly with James. You might. What?
Yeah.
What? But yeah, Delivering Liberty says exactly, Ben. Fake freedom fighters don't do anything apart from tweet. Literal keyboard warriors. And the same thing to I'm now dubious of any so-called major organisation that wants to try and form UFP, for example, that we co-founded, John, right? Yeah. We have nothing to do with it. We wouldn't want anything to do with it. It was supposed to be an accreditation organisation. It's now an activist organisation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Zed says, I agree with John regarding Fry, but then I'm old school too. And you know what? Once again, you're absolutely entitled to agree or disagree with anything we say. We disagree with each other. I tell you what, on morning meetings sometimes we can have quite vicious fucking arguments, can't we, John?
No.
We can.
Adult conversations. I prefer to refer to them as adult conversations. Fair
enough. Shall we move on to another friend of ours who is of your ilk, who is of your of your generation, Mr.
He's considerably older than me.
John, you're 145.
I've been in the Senate for 120 years.
Anyway, Mr. Latimer Alder says, UK energy security, mighty wind power. We have the world's biggest offshore wind fleet. It's producing just 5% of our electricity right now. That's 1/20th for the layman. Gas orange bar marked cost is doing nearly 12 times as much. Hashtag net zero. Say we will be totally replace gas with wind by 2015. Where's the bullshit button? Push it.
Bullshit.
There you go. There you go. It's as simple as that. Push the bullshit button.
Yeah. It's not happening. Net zero is a pipe dream. A pipe dream.
Yeah.
A pipe dream.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
No. So moving on to the SNP and the Green, which is the coalition here in Scotland.
Yes.
they're considering raising income tax to pay, to pay for things that they've misspent. Right. So the question asked by Union Voice is, how high would taxes need to rise to cover a loss of 12 billion of extra UK spend post Skexit? So, you know what? I really think it's time to put this to bed, because we had our once in a generation referendum and we said no.
You did. You said no.
We said no.
You said no. You said nay.
And recently the Supreme Court has said to Nicola, no, you can't do it.
No.
So I really think it's time to just let it go, Nicola. Just let it go.
I was about to say, if I still had my blonde hair, I'd have just pulled it out and let it go.
So, moving on to prices, and tell me what's wrong with this picture, Ben. And I know it always happens, but look at the price of diesel now.
I know.
And yet, look at the price of diesel now.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's
bullshit.
It's profiteering.
Yeah, it is.
It's government taxing you through the hilt. It's bullshit. It is bullshit. And what are we going to do? I mean, the price of diesel should be much lower at the pump right now. It really should. Yeah,
we should be back down to reasonable prices. We should be down to around about 130 or something.
Well, yeah, petrol's still in the 150s. And I imagine the wholesale price of petrol has also gone down.
Yeah,
diesel's up in the 170s still. It's ridiculous. It's designed. All of this is designed to impoverish us, right? The energy bills. My energy bill, £409 this month. £409 for gas and electricity. I'm on one of the lowest incomes in this country. How the hell am I meant to afford that? I've got 2 children, one of whom is disabled. I'm also disabled. We need extra things anyway each month. I'm trying to heat and run and feed a small 3-bedroom house. How the fuck am I meant to afford £409? It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. The whole thing's screwed up. Speaking of being screwed up and not making sense, so Ancient Apocalypse is the most dangerous show on Netflix.
It's definitely not. Anyway, that's Kiwis.
Yeah. I know it's definitely not, but so the Society for American Archaeology sent an open letter to Graham Hancock, who is the presenter and co-producer or something of the show, and accused him of a number of things. One of them being racist. Right? So, just to clear up a couple of points, Graham Hancock has never mentioned race in any of the shows.
Yeah, but when you want to fundamentally destroy someone.
Yeah. So Graham Hancock is married to someone of a different race.
But that's almost always the case, isn't it, these days?
So Graham Hancock has mixed race children.
Yeah.
Graham Hancock is not racist.
Do you know what? I will say this, and prove me wrong. I'd say 90% of the people accused of being racist on Twitter definitely aren't racist these days. I know. Maybe even 95%.
Basically, all Graham Hancock's done is outline facts, right? Reported things and given his explanation as to why he thinks that would be the case. Now, any adult would look at that and go, yay or nay, or well, maybe, or maybe not. They wouldn't go, you're racist.
Wow. Well, yeah, it's 2022, and the world.
Well, they probably would go, you're a racist.
This is it. When you fundamentally want to destroy someone, as I say, there are certain things you can say. You don't have to prove them, because if you start saying these things, if you start calling someone a racist on Twitter, that sticks. It sticks. Yeah. The stigma sticks. Speaking of sticking, anyway, I can see that a few of you are watching on YouTube, and only 2 of you have put a like on there. So I know we're on a new stream now, but go on. Stick a like on.
Like it.
Yeah.
Speaking of killing things.
Yes.
So Klaus, Big Papa Klaus, now wants to come for your pets. Now,
listen, John, you are not allowed to own the pets. If you want to have the pets, the only thing I will allow you to do with them is eat the pets.
So the thing that gets me is this comes up every couple of years.
It does. Do you know what? It's not just...
It just cycles round and round.
But not just for climate change as well.
No,
I know. Because during the COVID, they started threatening to round up all our cats. They were like, we're going to round up all your cats.
Didn't the Chinese do such a thing, clubbing dogs to death?
They
and things
did.
Like that?
They did. And it's ridiculous, right? Come for my pets. I dare you. I dare you. And I don't even like my pets. But come for my pets. I dare you.
What gets me is the great British public are in more of a furore over this than they were when they came for your children.
Of course, because, you know, excuse me, cute, fluffy, you know, we're gonna. I mean, one of our favourite viewers, Shalini. All she does is sit and watch dog grooming videos.
And I'd just like to clarify, people, that's not how to have sex with a young dog. That's how to groom its fur so it looks good. Well, in this day and age, grooming has all sorts of connotations, does it not?
Next slide.
Next slide. So
the universal flu vaccine is incoming, ladies and gentlemen. I repeat.
And it's based on mRNA technology.
Well, that's fair enough. People would like to take it. They can feel free to do so. Guess what? I won't.
Well, that's up to you.
That's up to me.
Everyone has their choice. Yeah. I mean, personally, I've never had a flu vaccine. I've never felt the need because if you actually work out your chances of catching the flu and your chance of dying from it and the chances of the flu vaccine being effective to the level where it would stop you catching all these percentages, it turns out that there's no real point. In my view,
I agree with you.
Purely in my view. That's purely a personal opinion.
And it's not something I personally would like, but if you feel like you want to take that chance...
You feel that you need it, go and get it.
Fill your fucking boots.
If you feel that you need a Twix, go and get one. It's up to you.
It is up to you. If you feel like you want to go and smoke some illicit substance, I'm not going to stop you. I would advise against it, but I'm not going to stop you.
You're going a bit far.
I didn't name anything, and I did that on purpose.
No, but you're just going too far now. You're going too far.
We're okay.
Right. Anyway,
I feel like I do need to address the chat right now because Trudy has got a little bit of the hump about me calling Shalini one of her favourites, right? And I'm going to explain myself here because I feel like I need to, right?
We're all favourites. You're all favourites.
First of all,
I hate you all equally.
First of all, I do love you all equally. And I kind of called her one of my favourites because I've watched this woman dance for 8 miles straight right next to me from one end of London to the other. And it was glorious. It was glorious. She's tiny.
And she didn't fall asleep.
No. I bet she went and had a good snooze after, though. She does like a snooze, that one, doesn't she? But I love you all equally. But, you know, there's a little bit of a special place in my heart. Delivering Liberty says, every time I had the flu treatment in past, I always caught the flu. When I didn't have it, I didn't catch it. So I'm basing it on trial and error. Well, yeah, that's fair enough.
It's a good basis. Speaking of trial and error, Chuck Callisto's in a bit out of order here. Because you don't fire someone based on allegations. You wait until there's been a court case or the accusation has been found, you know, to be true or not. You don't just fire someone automatically just because someone says you've done something.
You could certainly put them on paid leave.
Yeah, but you don't fire them. Do you, Chuck? Do you really?
But listen, John,
is that not a bit much?
No, I agree.
What if someone said, look, I mean, and I'm just putting this out there. What if someone said that you weren't a very nice person and did bad things to someone? right?
Should you be fired,
What
Chuck?
if someone said that? Should you be fired?
Yeah.
Just because someone said that, Chuck? Should you?
I
think not.
I think not. I do want to inject my own opinion into the situation with the Department of Energy's Sam Brinton, or as we like to call her, Matt Damon. He, she, whatever they want to be called, probably did it.
Allegedly.
That's why I said probably.
Yeah, allegedly. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Bolsonaro seems to be making kind of inflammatory statements in Brazil.
Yes. He says that armed forces will be on the side of the Brazilian people and says that everything will work out in due time and that the fight is not over yet.
It's interesting. I think we need to keep a close eye on Bolsonaro and Brazil and see what's going on over there.
I do believe you're absolutely right, and something that I believe is absolutely wrong, and someone who I believe is absolutely wrong and should have stayed the fucking course, despite the fact that it was not great, but it was better than what we've got now. Is Kwasi Kwarteng.
Why would he do this? Why would he say that? I mean, is he trying to wheedle his way in with the dwarf known as Sunuk?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But he's saying...
I don't know. I don't understand it because I think their budget was actually on point.
I think it could have gone further.
Yeah, it could have gone further.
They needed to add a VAT cut.
But but it was on point, whereas Sunak has just delivered what you would expect to come from the Labour Party.
Yeah, no, I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with you. This current budget, this current state of the UK is going to impoverish us even further. It doesn't care about you, me, or anybody else that hasn't got a pot to piss in. And it's going to fuck us over. And that is basically a Labour budget, because Labour claimed to be about the working people, but really this iteration of Labour since Tony Blair are just champagne socialists. That's all they are.
They are.
New Labour. We're new Labour. We don't give a fuck about you anymore, working class people.
Let's just face it, they're all as bad as each other.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Labour wanted more restrictions, not less.
And we would be, if Labour were in power, we would be in a worse economic state than we are now.
I guarantee if Labour had been in power, we'd still be asking for passports to get in.
Yeah, and to go abroad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we absolutely would. And, you know, as it stands, pretty much most countries now, apart from the USA, but most countries, we can just go back as normal, jump on a plane if we want with our regular old passport and fly there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the USA, we can't for some unknown strange reason. But
the USA is going to be one of the last countries in the world that's still requiring some proof.
So Sean of Delivering Liberty says it's him sucking up to his bosses. Yes.
Yeah, I think
yes,
you're right.
Yes, you are absolutely right. So we move on to the gift that keeps on giving, the New York Post. And what's gone on here, John?
Well, Hondas are killing people, right?
Mm.
So faulty airbags have killed 33 deaths, killed 33 people in Honda cars. Now, it's now been tied to a recall, okay? So 33 people die from airbag death by Honda, right? And yet, how many people have died from something else that's not been recalled?
I can completely... but I think I know why this has happened, John.
What, the airbag death?
Yeah, I think I know exactly why it's happened, right?
Go on.
Because when you get a car, I don't know if you do this, but a lot of people like to give their car a name, and unfortunately, these 33 people called it Christine.
That'll go over some people's heads. Speaking about going over people's heads, Elton John said he was going to leave Twitter because he doesn't think it's a very nice place anymore.
I'm leaving Twitter! I'm leaving Twitter!
But he's still here. This is like not, is he going to do another? Is he going to be another Stephen King? I'm not paying $8. I'm leaving Twitter, and he's still here. He's still not ending these tweets. He's still not ending these stories.
He will never end anything, Stephen King. He doesn't know how to do endings, for fuck's sake. I'm leaving Twitter. I'm really doing it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave. Just watch. You watch me go. You can go and find me on Mastodon.
Yeah.
Oh, remember the next day. Remember, I'm leaving Twitter. I'm really gonna do it. Yeah, I'm going. I'm off. Then the next day. Huh, really, I'm doing it this time. I'm doing it, John. No, you're not. Stephen.
No, he's
not.
He's not doing it.
Same with you, Elton, and I don't think Elton even wrote this tweet, right? I think it was.
I don't think he did either.
I think it was some junior staffer who's gone, I'm just going to tweet in the voice of Elton John. Can you even understand a word that man fucking says when he sings?
Have you seen the video with the captions underneath it?
Yeah, but the thing is, they're so true to life, aren't they?
They are. It does sound like he's saying things like that.
Yeah, it does. The man he's probably so senile at this point. He doesn't know really what words are.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, he adopted the child as well, didn't
he? Yeah, he did. Yeah. Should we move on?
So I think the Washington Post comes up with a good one here, and then they get an even better reply. I think that just sums it up. Because Argentina doesn't have a lot of black people.
Well, right? This is the thing, right? Why is but my question is not even why.
The diversity.
Yeah, but my question is, why is this being asked? It's like the same question could be asked, why doesn't Japan have more white British people in the World Cup?
Exactly. It's the same question. It's just because it's not diverse enough.
Yeah, but diversity means not white, doesn't it? That's what it means now.
Yeah, it does. Well, racism means that you're not... It means you're a white person being nasty to someone who's got some colour in their skin. Yeah. That's what it means.
Yeah.
You can't be racist if you're not white.
Certainly in the Western world, white people appear to be the biggest permitted victims of racism.
But the reply was a cracker, was it not? Because we are a country, not a Disney movie.
but this is exactly right.
Well, you know what? And you could also maybe say, because we pick people on the basis of their ability and not their colour. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of ability, should we move on to our next slide?
Well, this is a bit strange. So I think previously we would have called these people like benefit frauds.
Well, we've covered the woman on the right before, the one that blinded herself, right? Because I think it's absolutely disgusting what her doctor did. Her psychiatrist helped her blind herself by pouring acid in her eyes.
Yes, right. So but people are apparently becoming disabled by choice and calling themselves transabled.
Wonderful.
So they're identifying as people that are disabled. So how does that make you feel, Ben?
Well, it certainly doesn't make any sense to me. First of all, because let me talk. I know you don't like me talking about myself a lot anymore on these shows, but let me talk from a position of myself for a minute. And that position is this: I am in constant pain. I am on so much medication just to keep me going. Right? You've seen it. Other people here have seen it. The amount of medication I take, it's strong medication. And you know what? If I could trade it all just to be able to not be in this pain and have nothing, in a heartbeat, right? In a heartbeat. For people to want to put themselves by choice in this position, it makes no sense to me. And it kind of, I'm going to say a phrase that I don't think I've said before, and it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart because these people are obviously so mentally ill and they're not getting the help they need. And then all of a sudden, these so-called psychiatrists who are licensed to practice come along and say, I know what we'll do. We'll pour acid in your eyes. Or I know what we'll do.
Yeah, you're right. They're mentally ill. That's the problem. They're mentally ill and they're not getting the proper help. What's happening is they're being enabled to fulfill their mental illness.
Yeah. Beach Crate says, do they want my fits? John, I have seizures as well. Right? Do they want those? Do they want those? The thing is, we don't choose to be like this. I don't choose to be in this pain. I don't want to be in this pain, but I have to deal with it. I have to deal with it every single day. And I've made adaptations to my life. I've got a stair lift, I've got a mobility scooter and I've got a walking stick if I'm going to the shop or something like that, right? But I adapt and I muddle on through and I cope and I get by. But I would rather not. And these people want to be in this position. They need real psychological help, and they need people who are going to help them properly. And what they've done to them, what these psychiatrists have done to them, is just barbaric. It is I mean, he physically helped her pour the acid in her eyes.
Yeah,
it's barbaric.
The whole thing's mental. Anyway,
he should be in prison.
Speaking of mental illness, I think this person might be on it.
She's a parody.
Oh, is she? Is that a parody?
This is a parody. Anne Lesby is a very, very good parody account on Twitter.
See, but they're supposed to tell us when they're parodies these days.
Yeah, no. Well, because she's not parodying anyone in particular. She's just a parody of the.
Well, let's move on. Move on to the next one then, because the next one's even better. This is how not to read a room, huh? In this climate, in this day and age, how not to read a room. Throw a 100K party for your dog?
Do you know what? If you've got the money, flaunt it. I don't care.
No, I think that's disgusting.
I think
to waste 100K on a party for a dog that doesn't have a clue what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's entirely unnecessary.
Well, one, it's unnecessary. Two, it's insulting to people, right? Three, it's probably abuse of the dog.
Perhaps, yeah.
You know, I mean, I think the whole thing's absolutely sick. It's twisted, and the guy has no conception of what is happening to real people in the real world at this point in time.
Yeah, but it's like the people on The Last Leg, isn't it? Right? They claim like so. The Last Leg is a Channel 4 in the UK comedy Friday Night Live show with three woke idiots, but two of them are disabled as well. Adam Hills and the other two. But they're like, oh, we want to help real people. They don't have any indication of what real people are going through. Like I said the other day to Adam, like my £400 energy bill is 10 minutes work for them on that show. Right? They don't know what real people are struggling through. They don't know what they're going through. And none of these people have the ability to really understand what hardships the average person is going through. They're nuts. They're all nuts. And and it pisses me off. It really pisses me off when they try. Oh, we're just like you. No, you're fucking not.
No, you're not.
You're not.
Speaking of just like
I mean, Melville. It's like, the rich get richer and us poor people. Well, you're not fucking one of us.
No, he's
not. Fuck off. Sorry.
So moving on to the last slide of the day. This guy, speaking of being mentally ill, is a complete and utter loser.
Right.
He makes food in hotel rooms that don't have kitchens.
Why?
Because that's his gimmick, isn't it? So here he is rolling out a pizza in a bathroom slab, on the marble slab in a bathroom in a hotel room. Using things in the hotel room. He's disgusting.
Why?
Because that's his gimmick.
What gimmick? What do you mean his gimmick?
It'll be so he can get clicks and giggles and likes. That's his gimmick. He makes hotel room food.
Yeah, I was watching.
He uses things like, fries a steak on an iron and things like that.
I was watching something on YouTube earlier where a bunch of Australian people hooked up a 1-ton rubber bamboo to a helicopter and dropped it in a field just to see how high it would bounce.
Yeah.
And I thought, why are you doing this? I just thought, why are you doing this?
Shits and giggles. That's what Mr. Beast does.
Yeah, well, at least Mr. Beast sometimes helps people, right?
Yeah, but I mean that's what it's all about. Well, yeah, in respect of if you can swim to that case of 100K and get it, and come back without being eaten by a shark called helping people. Yeah, fair enough.
Do you know what? I'd throw my ass in that lake, wheelchair and all. Just push me in, boys. Push me in.
Mate. It wasn't a lake. It was a
sea, wasn't it?
Sea.
Yeah, but still, I'd just be like, push me in, boys. Come on. Just. Are you sure? Are you sure, Ben? Yep. Just push me over the edge. Just throw me in. I'll use my arms. It's all good. It's all good.
So there you go.
Oh, and you know what? Surprisingly, for how well, for the issues we had, this show has actually done quite okay today. So, I want to thank one and all for.
Yes, that's a bin used as a rolling pin.
That is a bin used as a rolling pin. Yes, it was.
Yes, the man is disgusting.
But if you have enjoyed it, then don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Click the like if you haven't, and more importantly, click the share button on this and the first part, right? Because it's in 2 parts, and I'll put this thumbnail on the second part as well, and we'll sort it all out. Don't worry about that. But yeah, if you've enjoyed it, please do that, and consider a donation at patreon.com.
Right, so whoever said he tried to donate, but PayPal were asking for too much information. Well, I mean, if you don't have a PayPal account, then you wouldn't be able to pay with PayPal. Ko-fi shouldn't be asking you for any more information than just your details.
Well, I don't know how it all works. Adam is looking into it.
It's like Patreon and stuff like that. Oh, right. Okay, Adam's looking into it.
And speaking of Adam, if you're still there, please put the Discord link in the chat. And if you do want to donate, then you could feel free to do so at patreon.com/chasing descent or Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/chasing descent, and follow our representative Twitter account at chasing_descent. Go and follow it. Delivering Liberty says, I made food in my van. That's my quirk. Yeah, but Sean, you live in your van. That is your home. It is your kitchen. It is your sleeping quarters. It is everything. So,
Ko-fi's using PayPal to pay me, right?
Oh.
So, PayPal shouldn't be asking you for anything. It's Ko-fi that should get your
Let's have this
stuff.
Conversation on Discord, not on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's have this conversation.
So with that, I'd like to thank you, one and all, for attending this episode 173 and a half of Chasing Descent Live.
We'll see you either tonight on the other channel, 100 Acre Swamp, at 9. Maybe tomorrow as well, at 9. 100 Acre Swamp. And we'll be back here for this show Wednesday.
On Wednesday. Love you.
Well, it's been great.
For you.
Christmas, all the Christmas trees on fire. Santa's holding the lighter. My parents are both liars. I got gifts but 1 subscribers. Thanks for the candy basket. Oh God, another jacket. My stocking's filled with acid. Am I dreaming? What just happened?